Everybody, welcome back to Farming Simulator 25. New Frontier Swine Time, episode 12. I was just thinking about expanding this field some, and I was trying to come up with the best way to do it in a way that would uh, keep me on the straight path of Nexat usage, at least until, so that so that I'm not getting not getting crazed. And what I found is for the Nexat, we go 7, some calculations done. We go 7 wide, 7 plow widths wide. We can get yet it still thinks it's not going to recalculate it. That is really, really annoying. We go 7 wide with this 26-meter thing. We go 7 lanes. That will give us an even number of 14-meter lanes. But I was trying to work with some offsets here to finish off the lane, but it didn't do what I wanted to, and now I have the problem where it doesn't reset. And so now it still thinks it has the offset. Look, I'm not going to actually pull it, but it still thinks it's got that 5-meter offset. Okay, finally we have that. So what I'm going to do is just put down a little marker here as my starting point. Try to keep that width. So it's basically right down the center of that. Thing, and that ought to get us to a full lane on this. That looks about right. Wanted to expand this guy some. That's pretty close. Well, actually, I just need to keep that right in that little realm right there. Yeah. I don't know if I actually have enough room or not. When it really comes down to it. But this ought to make 5 lanes, and so I need to go 2 more lanes. I need to go 2 more plow widths to get 7 lanes. I think we have room for. We might have to cut some more trees off, but that's fine. I'm not attached to the trees. And we will come back and do some painting cleanup. Okay, those really do look like rocks, but they certainly weren't poundable. Lift this guy up. We just gotta go basically right down the path. Try to get this thing as straight as possible. Right on the degrees here. Don't think we're doing a perfect job, but pretty close. That's exactly 270. But I suspect we're going to have to come back and do some cleanup. So, if we were going to do this for producing large amounts of our 4 crops. That's 4, right? Soybean, barley, sorghum, and potato. We might actually, we'd have to buy lots of land. We'd probably put all of those together and make them one field. We're gonna pick this guy up and go back down one more time and deal with any tree problems we have on that end. That's not a full width though. Feels pretty close. Going to be close to even 14-meter width, unless my math was off, which is actually pretty likely given my math skills. Now, I thought we were going to put barley in this guy, but I decided not to, because we got those 5 rows of barley over there. 5 Nexat rows. Now, it looks to me like we're going to have to cut some trees. Yep. A few, anyway. We'll get that dealt with. And that's just to give us good turnaround room. We'll probably come back and hit those again. Alright, so that should be even rows with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that should be 7 rows. And according to my math, that should divide evenly into proper well, that's got some funkiness going to it, though. In case I do end up wanting to use headlands. So what if we do a little bit of construction here and we just cut that thing off? You just go straight down the way we have been. That's fairly square. Make sure we're not going to create fields when we drop it. Good. Alright, so that should be it for February. And that's now the right size. So if that's sorghum and that's potatoes, will we have enough soybeans to see us through? I suspect so. We'll actually have enough potatoes to see us through. So we've got the barley, and that's going to fill us up on sorghum. Maybe we just do soybeans in this pair, these end ones. If I could plant barley in there, I would, but I can't. So it looks to me like we're going to have enough potatoes. I think we've been getting ahead of ourselves on potatoes. Maybe I'll do soybeans in one and potatoes in the other just to stay ahead. So the one, yeah, and then sorghum in the big one will load us up on sorghum for a long time to come, hopefully. And March is potato time. So let's just go grab our potato harvester, or planter I should say, and push into March. I do believe we're going to need more potatoes. But we'll just go grab some out of here. Okay, well we can go move on. Although we ought to look at our pigs real quick, like the tiny pigs. Just to see. Okay, so 5 months. So March will be one of them. April, May, June, July. So July, right? Right. Production costs, property maintenance, and loan interest. But we're making 60K. Is that, well, harvest income. Oh, 72 on sold products. Okay, well, we can actually go pay off something, or we could save that and possibly buy our potato harvester outright. Come when it's time to do that. But let's get our potatoes down. Yeah, that looks better. That already looks better. Alright, we're going to get this done. So that is potatoes in. Not that we needed them specifically, but we might as well just keep that ball rolling. Maybe we'll do potatoes in the center field next time. Although even with this, we're going to end up with more potatoes than we needed to cover this factory anyway. But I think we're going to do big barley next time, which means maybe I should just leave that big field. No, we got to do sorghum. Got to do sorghum. Hopefully we can harvest the sorghum and plant the barley without any big gap. Which, let's have a look at that. So we harvest the sorghum in May, and we plant the barley in September. We are golden. You know what? I'm gonna put this potato thing over here next to the shop and plow storage. Might as well. We don't need that for a while. So now the question is, how are we going to plant this stuff? Because I'm kind of over the Nexat. Although the Nexat for planting isn't too bad when it comes down to it. So maybe I'm not over the Nexat entirely. What am I over the Nexat for? Field prep. Which means we need to get our other stuff going. But did I ever... I don't think I... Oh, I did, apparently, apply. I never slurried this up, which we do seem to potentially have room for. But we're not slurrying right now, we're planting. Get this thing loaded up the automatic way by holding down O, at which point it will just line itself up properly. Grab that thing as is needed, which makes me wonder, is there an automatic removal? Apparently not. Okay. Well, actually, if we look at this, is there some sort of... No, it doesn't look like it this way either. Oh wow, we could change tank partitioning. That's kind of neat. Okay, well, so I've talked about putting soybeans in here, so we'll do that. I guess I do need to fertilize, but I can't slurry now and... Oh no, I guess I could slurry now and then... Oh, we can't plant in March because I'm silly. Okay, so we can slurry now if we're gonna, and we might as well. We might as well hit up that that big field with slurry and see how well my math turned out anyway. The one advantage to Nexat is that all the tools are the same size. We gotta go get that thing filled up and brought down there. And if we're lucky, we'll be able to slap some more into the slurry tank as on top of that. So this guy, I wonder if I can just send him down there. That's alright. We'll just go over here. Alright, so we got potatoes and soybeans in. No, we don't have soybeans in. We have potatoes in. Man. Seem to have the memory of a goldfish lately.
Don't stop dreaming.
Yeah, well, that's as much slurry as this field needs when it comes down to it. I might have seen that's fully slurried and that's all good. We don't need to slap the rest down on the field. That's fine. That'll produce enough. We're already intentionally producing an overage. So now we gotta go get the planter. Might as well leave the slurry in this tank. I don't think we're gonna be getting a slurry tanker anytime soon to replace this, and this one works fine for this. Once we've got a, the harvesting is fine with this thing too, if we can just work out how to load the harvester without issue. Which I think it might load fairly well. It feels like this thing actually drops down a little bit when it goes to pick these things up. So it might load pretty well with the auto load feature when you hold down O on the harvester, which we won't find out right away, but hopefully I remember to try that out. Before we're done next time. We'll have to go back and get that slurry tanker and get that going. But we're going to sleep tonight. We almost have enough money for the high lift. I'm tempted to buy the high lift before we buy the other thing I was talking about buying. Whatever the heck that was. The potato harvester. We might be better off doing that. I mean, we could limp along with the winching and all of that, pushing trees in, but the high lift will just make things so much easier. That really is the best way to do it currently. So with that, let's visit the farmhouse. Let's check on the pigs, make sure that they're not going to run out of food. Good. Yep. 4 months to go. April, May, June, July. So next month we probably want to put more wood in the thing, and hopefully we'll have the high lift for that. And then our next pig sale in July will give us a nice punch ahead. Yes, we can pick up the high lift. So let's do that. I thought this thing was, oh, it's 384. Oh, no safety frame, no beacons, 381. All right, well, I feel like that guy is not as good at picking things up. So we're still going to buy it. We're just going to borrow a little bit more money. We'll borrow 50. Whoops. There we go. No safety frame. I gotta have a safety frame. Protects your engine. No safety beacon though. And no beacon at all. For that matter, we don't need a license plate. No plate. Alright. Bye. For some reason I thought that was 287. But it's not. Wow, we really pushed ourselves out. Here's our soybeans. Hello. Did I not get it right? There we go. Alright, we're going to get these soybeans in and talk to you when that's over. Okay, so we're going to do our sorghum planting now. We're going to plant this whole field up in sorghum. And next time we're going to plant it up in barley. So we're just going to get back on this. It's going to be a long time lapse. But that's what it is. So we're just going to do it. Here we go. Well, it looks like I was a little bit off, but the math holds. I think I just didn't actually extend it far enough. You know, I overlapped a little bit on several of those runs I made with the plow, so that makes sense. But it looks like we're almost done here, and then we can go get our high lift and get some oaks into the lumber mill, the sawmill, and that'll probably cover the rest of the time we've got. Feel like we accomplished something today, so that's good. Look at the map. Ooh, that map. I'm not sure how the slurry works anymore. I guess I have to do a double coat, or it doesn't actually count. I'm confused. This comes from my slurry inexperience. I've never used slurry before except to power biogas plants, which is really what the plan is in the end. Anyway, so I'm hoping I'll put the biogas plant somewhere close-ish, maybe right over there, and then our slurry productions will, you know, our pigs will produce slurry decently. We gotta come up with some way of storing this stuff. Won't need any planting for a while. Got that guy. Yep. I do believe our next step is going to actually be harvesting. So let's go find out whether we can pick this thing up in the way that our next Nexat step anyway. Pick this guy up in the way that I thought we could. No. Come on. Get in there. Pretty tempted to buy a regular harvester. Well, anyway, that's all we gotta worry about. We can actually turn this thing off. And let's go get our high lift. There's quite a few oaks. I haven't figured out what one oak tree is worth in terms of, you know, process everything, but, we'll get a few of these trees in. Wow, that was a debacle. Sometimes that mod, the quick tractor switch mod that I have, does some weird stuff. And that was one of them. But switching away and back to the thing and then getting it set to not, it's a right click. So when you're using things that require left and right mouse together, like operating this thing, you gotta have that thing turned on to the alternate, which I just turn everything on anyway, to the alternate trigger for that quick switch, which is the left control C. But if you're in the middle of doing it, it becomes weird, and if it's set weird, it can become even weirder. I think if I had remembered that it was right click, I probably could have done it. I probably could have gotten out of it more easily, but when in doubt, if you switch out to a vehicle that already has it set like that, and you can always just go you know, switch out and fix it, and then switch back, and then get your actual settings set up. Alright, over here, hopefully gets it, yep. Alright, just a little over one more, but this is so much better than doing it the winch way. Like, as soon as you can afford one of these, if you're doing oak, this is the way to go. It does help to pull it back so that your center of gravity is better. You don't end up falling over. Yeah, we probably can't get another one in, so we're just going to leave it there. But yeah, we can go get, well, we can probably get some pig food in there. just to ensure those piggies are fed. I imagine we still have pig food. Not much. I think it's the barley. When does barley harvest? In June. Okay. Pretty sure we'll make it. We've been making it so far. But we're definitely not ready for a second pig barn. Yeah, these guys have plenty of food. They'll be fine for a couple of months. So, whoop, wrong key again. We gotta go out to here and pick this guy up. So that was just a big old waste of slurry, I guess, and effort. Means you really should just think about buying a big old slurry pit and filling it in prep for someday owning a biogas plant. Well, the biogas plant pulls a lot of money if you can get it. We're going to have the potato harvester soon, which means to get the sugar beets all we'd need is another header, which is pretty cheap. And so then we could run sugar beets into the biogas plant. I don't know if I'm going to do sugar and bread and all that stuff this time. That turned into a lot to manage. I'm pretty sure we can make a lot of money on just concentrating on pigs and biogas. The biogas is there for something to do with the slurry the pigs produce. But then we would add sugar beets to the mix because that would be something for the biogas plant to deal with as well. Now we're going to get down here. That's so much easier than weeding, plowing ahead of time. But I'm wondering, I do not like the sprayer. So I think I need to go with that same sprayer. Was it a Farm Tech? Or am I totally misremembering? Otherwise I still gotta deal with the slurry. I'm not happy with slurry. I'm not happy with the Nexat sprayer. Agripack. Yeah, this guy. The Condor. 54 meters. Yeah, I do feel like that's going to be a better option. And I haven't done much exploration of this map, so I can't really say, but I'm wondering if the skid steer and the rock breaker were a total, like, misappropriation of money, misuse of money, not appropriation. So if we bought 4 more blocks, we could put fields like that on each of them. On, 2 blocks covers that one field. If we look at the map, so that's approximately the same. Not exactly the same, but approximately. So if we bought like these two blocks and these two blocks, I think those ones are on the hill. Let's actually go visit this. Okay, these wouldn't be bad. Yeah, so if we bought these two and these two, we could put a field like that on each of them, and then we would we'd maybe fill these in, or not maybe, for sure, fill these in and get this to be 7 plow rows wide, probably in that direction. And then we'd have all of our crops covered, and then one more set of fields somewhere for our sugar beets, and that fills us in for biogas, like sugar beets and slurry. I don't think we'll even bother with the manure, because it seems to me that pigs don't produce much manure. At least based on what I was doing before, but they do tend to produce a bunch of manure, a bunch of slurry, so that's good. I think that's all we've got in April. But we could get through to June and get barley in there. But we are out of time. So, you hear that? That bell ringing. I swear that means there's collectibles nearby. But I could be wrong. I've never been able to prove it to myself either way. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will catch you next time.